All right, so day one with Amazon. This is going to be everything you need to know. I mean, this is going to be a culmination of all the stuff that I've picked up on over the last year, and basically just the stuff that you need to know to set you up for success on that first day hauling freight for Amazon. So let's get after it. So the first decision you need to make is, where do you want to look for loads? You got two choices as it stands today. You've got their app-based load board and you've got their web-based load board. Now, I personally prefer the web-based load board because it has an auto refresh feature. Now, on this feature, you do want to be sure that you change the little sprocket to being updating every 15 seconds. It defaults to every 30 seconds. The problem with that is, if you let it stay in that default mode and you're getting that information every 30 seconds, there are loads that are appearing on the board that other people are booking that you're not even seeing, because this all happens during your 30-second refresh. So be sure and hit that little sprocket and change the refresh speed to every 15 seconds. The downside with the app-based load board is that every time you want to do it, every time you want to get an update, you have to take your phone and swipe down with your finger in order to get update. As it stands currently, there is no auto refresh feature on the app-based load board. So you find a load you want, you book it, great. If you're over in the app-based load board, this is where you have to switch over to the web-based load board to add a driver. You'll do that by, hitting trips and adding a driver. If you're in the web-based load board, this is kind of another thumbs up for the web-based load board. You're already where you need to be. So you're going to either, go to trips or go to view trips, and you're going to add the driver who will be taking that load. Once you add the driver to the load, it's going to auto-populate into your Relay app queue as an upcoming assignment. So now it's time to start work for that load. You want to go in there, start the work. You want to say what equipment you're bringing. Obviously, if it's power only, you're just bringing the tractor. If it's a trailer required load, you need to add the trailer in there as well too that you're bringing. And it's going to give you GPS directions as far as how to get to the facility. Now, once you get to the facility, it's important to know that these places are geofenced. They know when you arrive. I only bring this up because I kind of consider it to be like a best practice. When I get to a spot, and let's say there's a line of trucks in front of me, and let's say I'm supposed to be there at a specific time, and I'm there 15 minutes before, but this line of trucks in front of me is not going to clear in the time that I need to make it to the gate, I'll usually screenshot. It'll say like, arrival successfully detected. I'll usually screenshot that. I've never had it be an issue, but I'm just kind of doing it to kind of like cover myself in the event that, hey, look, I was there 15 minutes early. There was a 30-minute line of trucks and I didn't make it to the gate at my time, and I just don't want them to affect my on-time score down the road. And, if I have that screenshot, I can always dispute that at a later time. So you pull up to the check-in gate or the guard shack. As soon as you get there, a little QR code is going to be auto-generated on your phone. It's also going to have a number with it. This number is referred to as the VRID. Most of the time at the check-in or guard shack, most of the time they're asking for the last four numbers of your VRID. However, sometimes, very rarely, sometimes they will ask for the whole number. That's the number that they're looking for. Now, once they check you in, there's three outcomes as far as where they may send you. They may send you to a parking slip. This is ideal. This is best case scenario. This means that the trailer you're there to pick up is ready to go. They may send you to a dock door. This means that they may still be working on the trailer you're supposed to take. Remember, don't, wait for a green light, never hook on a red, that type of stuff. The third option is temporary parking. This means one of two things. One, either the load's going to get canceled, or two, you're there so early that they haven't even started the trailer yet and there's not a dock door or a parking slip to assign you to. It does help to know if the trailer you're picking up is empty or full. Basically, the little black circle that appears in the trips tab. If it's filled in, it's full. If it's not filled in, it's an empty trailer. So say you're starting your day and you show up there and they do end up canceling the first leg of the trip. I call this a front-end cancellation. So the other day this happened to me. I was supposed to pick up a loaded trailer in Otay, take the loaded trailer to Temecula, and swap that for an empty trailer and return that to Otay. So there were 3 legs to the trip: Otay, Temecula, Otay. Well, the first leg of it, Otay to Temecula, had been canceled, and this is where it's a little bit anxiety producing, because for about 20 to 30 minutes while they're in theory canceling the back portion of that shift, the app is instructing you to drive to Temecula. Now, the reason it's kind of anxiety producing is, you're going to get the same $175 truck order not used if you sit there and wait for them to cancel it in Otay. However, the app's telling you to drive to Temecula to pick up the empty trailer. You're going to get the same $175 if you're halfway or all the way to Temecula and they cancel it. But if they do expect you to go up to Temecula and bring that trailer back and you don't show up on time, that's going to affect your score. So it's kind of one of those decision points of like, man, do I want to sit here and wait 20 to 30 minutes and hope that they just cancel the whole thing? Which, if I'm being honest, I've never had a front-end cancellation where they haven't canceled the whole thing. So whenever they do that front-end cancellation, I have always had it. But in the back of my mind is always that worry of like, okay, well, they've canceled the first part, but they still expect me to go to Temecula and bring the empty one back. And if you show up late for that, it's going to affect your score. So you make it to your trailer. You want to verify the trailer ID. Again, it's one of those best practice things that I found. I always want to be sure that the trailer ID matches what the app is looking for. It is real tempting to sit there in that moment and say like, oh, well, the app says I'm supposed to get trailer 1234, and just to type in 1234. My fear in that is that's how you end up at the exit gate with the wrong trailer. So I always verify that the number on the trailer does match. One thing that happened to me one time, and I'm just adding this for completeness, one time the app, the numbers it was looking for helped me, because I got to a trailer that had, it was like a weird four-digit number. Most Amazon trailer IDs are longer than that. And anyway, this 4-digit number, when I typed it in, it was the same thing that the app was looking for, but in the app, it wanted, let's say the number on the trailer was like 1234, and in the app, it said it was expecting 12-34. And so in order to get that trailer to successfully add to, to my VRID that I was on, I actually had to type in the last 4 of that was --34. And so it is a good idea, like a comparison, to just be sure you have the right trailer. All right, so the trailer ID has been verified. It's then going to prompt you to do a safety inspection. It gives you the opportunity of taking pictures. If you see anything on there that you're like, man, I want them to know that this trailer had this condition going on with it and it didn't happen while it was in my possession, you can take pictures of whatever you want, do your full safety inspection, and then the last thing to worry about is a seal. Now, if your trailer's empty, Amazon does not expect you to put a seal on the back, and you can go ahead and just close up the doors and head on out. If it does have merchandise in it, it is your responsibility to be sure that there's a seal on there. Now, if you find your trailer at a parking slip, 9 times out of 10, it already has the seal in. If it's at a dock door, typically what has to happen is you're going to pull it out, far enough to be able to close the trailer doors. When you walk around to the back of the trailer, they will have a seal usually taped inside the perimeter portion of the trailer, and it's your job to put that seal on there. And then once everything's sealed up, it's going to give you the system will give you a little bill of lading. It's a little, you can just screenshot that, keep that for your paperwork later. So the VRID changes with every leg of the trip. So, first leg of the trip, checking in, checking out, you're on the same VRID. Checking in at the new spot, you're on still that same VRID. However, once you check in and now it's time to leave with a new trailer, the VRID is going to change for that new trailer. That's important to know, because if you have an issue with the leg of the trip and you need to contact ROC, a lot of times there'll be a little drop-down menu, and you want to be sure that you're contacting ROC about the correct VRID. If you submit the wrong one, this doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes they'll say like, you need to submit a new case with the correct VRID because you put it in there incorrectly. So just be sure you know that the VRID changes with each leg of the trip. So it comes time to drop off the trailer. It's like, well, who breaks the seal? You want to be sure that you show up with the seal intact, but then it comes time to break it. I do carry these for the little wire seals that they put on there, and then they put those little RFID bolts. I love my bolt cutters. I think it's like $25 at Harbor Freight. I like being self-sufficient. Typically these yards have like one communal set of bolt cutters, and I see guys all the time like driving around looking for, hey, who has the bolt cutters? I just like having them with me. So my advice would definitely be, pick up some bolt cutters. Absolutely going to need wire cutters though. And the last thing I want to cover is what I call a back-end cancellation. So my Otay to Temecula to Otay example, let's say I do take that trailer up there. I take that loaded trailer from Otay up to Temecula, and I get to Temecula and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have an empty trailer. The app is going to instruct you to bobtail from Temecula back to Otay, saying like, well, this is what, you signed up for this. This is the back end of the trip. Only on these back-end trips. I've made a couple of these little, I feel guilty calling them a hack, because it's not really a hack. It was taught to me by an ROC agent, but there is, if you're on, and I want to choose my words carefully because I've gotten lit up in the comments on some of these things. If you are on the second to last leg of your trip and they don't have a trailer for you, and they say, well, go ahead and bobtail back to Otay, you don't need to do that. There is a remote check-in kind of hack, if you will. I've made a couple short videos about this. If you want more information on it, I'll put a link in the description below. But it doesn't make sense to bobtail from Temecula all the way back to Otay just to finish the trip. You're not bringing anything. This is when you do not have Amazon property attached to your trailer, and it's meant for that second to the last stop. When they do that back-end cancellation, you still will get paid for the whole trip, but you do not need to bobtail back back to your original starting location to end the trip. You can end it from anywhere. You can remotely check in. Links in the description below. I hope this video serves you well. Appreciate you for watching. Take care.